The floor of the naval headquarters gleamed under the bright lights, not because of the men in uniform, but because of the quiet janitor who worked long after everyone else went home. His name was Ethan Cole, a man in his late 30s, sleeves rolled up, mop in hand, eyes tired but focused. Most people saw him as just another cleaner, invisible in the background of the country's most secure military facility. But those who looked closer might have noticed something different, the way he carried himself, the way his eyes scanned every corner like a soldier still on duty. Ethan didn't talk much. He came in early, left late, and always wore a small dog tag around his neck, though the name had long been rubbed off. He was a single father raising his 8-year-old son, Jacob, who often waited for him in the janitor's lounge with his homework spread out and a toy plane beside him. Life wasn't easy. After losing his wife, Hannah, to cancer, Ethan had traded a decorated career for a mop and bucket, a quiet sacrifice to stay close to his boy. That morning, however, was different. The base buzzed with energy. Admiral Marcus Grant, the commanding officer of the Navy SEAL program, was visiting. His reputation was legendary, strict, intelligent, a man who could size someone up in seconds. As fate would have it, Admiral Grant spotted Ethan in the hallway. The janitor had just finished cleaning when a few young officers snickered nearby. "Hey, Cole," one of them joked. "You ever think of joining the SEALs?" They laughed, not realizing who they were mocking. Ethan simply smiled, kept mopping, and replied softly, "Once upon a time." The admiral, overhearing the exchange, turned with a grin. "Once upon a time. What was your call sign then, janitor?" The question was meant as a tease. But the moment Ethan looked up, everything changed. His calm blue eyes met the admiral's steel gray ones, and with a low, steady voice, he said, "Lone Eagle." The hallway fell silent. The admiral's smile faded. His eyes widened as if he'd seen a ghost. The officers stopped laughing. That name, Lone Eagle, was known to every SEAL who had ever worn the trident. It belonged to a man who had vanished after a classified mission overseas, a man who had once saved an entire squad from an ambush at the cost of his own career. "You," the admiral whispered, stepping closer. "You're him." Ethan just gave a faint nod. "Used to be." That evening, the admiral called Ethan to his office. The room was lined with medals and flags, but it was Ethan's silence that commanded the space. "I read the after-action reports," Grant began. "You led Operation Iron Talon. You went dark after extraction. We thought you were dead." Ethan sighed. "I almost was. Lost my team, lost myself, and when Hannah got sick, I hung it up. My son needed a father more than the Navy needed another ghost." The admiral leaned back, visibly moved. "You could have had a desk job. A pension. Why mop floors?" Ethan looked out the window. "Because here, I can still serve quietly, no guns, no blood. Just clean up after the mess instead of being part of it." For a moment, neither man spoke. The weight of unspoken memories hung between them, of men lost, of choices made in silence. Then came the twist of fate. A few days later, the base went into emergency lockdown. A chemical leak in one of the storage labs threatened to ignite, and Jacob, Ethan's son, was trapped inside. Panic spread as alarms blared and smoke filled the corridors. Security teams scrambled, but the safety system malfunctioned. Ethan didn't hesitate. While others shouted protocols, he sprinted straight into the danger zone. His instincts, his training, everything he'd buried for years, came alive. Crawling under the smoke, he reached Jacob, who was coughing and crying. Wrapping him in his jacket, Ethan carried him out through the emergency hatch, his arm blistering from the heat. When they emerged, both gasping, Admiral Grant was already there. He helped pull them to safety as medics rushed in. "You're still the same man," Grant said quietly. "The Navy didn't lose a hero. It just gained one who found a new mission." Ethan smiled faintly. "My mission's been the same all along, protect what matters." Days later, Admiral Grant invited Ethan to a ceremony. Not as a janitor, but as a veteran being honored for heroism, both past and present. Ethan stood before the crowd, Jacob beside him, wearing his old SEAL pin once more. As the admiral pinned a new medal to his chest, he whispered, "Welcome back, Lone Eagle. Even if you never returned to active duty, your spirit never left the Brotherhood." Ethan looked down at his son, who was beaming with pride. "No, sir," he said softly. "It never will." That night, father and son walked home under the stars. Jacob held his dad's hand tightly and asked, "Dad, what does lone eagle mean?" Ethan smiled. "It means someone who flies alone, but always finds his way home." The boy grinned. "Then I think I want to be like you one day." Ethan's eyes glistened as he ruffled Jacob's hair. "Then you already are, kiddo."